use that excuse.
Maybe we get the mayor to say hi to Jan.
Okay.
Thank you.
Take forever.
I know.
Nice to see
And then,
you.
of course, you know Jenny. Yes,
Okay, Mark. Jenny, yes. You know what?
It's nice to meet
I have got, like, I will get to it, I was gonna call.
Does it make you feel knowing that a lot of
Yeah, 6 o'clock, to be out here tonight up at the county.
It's a huge part of our
Whatever fits into your, I just need 5 minutes to get there, so.
Why did he came in as you?
I retired
Yeah, he took off 2013.
Welcome everyone to the library, our special 140th anniversary. We will have a little bit of history following some of the presentations, but we want to get Mayor Morris into his meeting. So I'm Mindy, I'm the director of the library. I've been coming to this library since I was a child. I love it. I'm so honored to be the director. I've been living in this community for over 50 years, and I couldn't be prouder to run this wonderful historic building. So thank you all for coming. I hope that you come and visit more often. Check out some books, see everything we have to offer. Check out our bookmobile. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mayor Morris, who's going to present a proclamation to our board president, Dawn Brooks.
Well, thank you, Mindy, and I've been coming to the library at different times, starting 54 years ago when I first came to the community, and I think you and I have known one another for quite some time, and probably not too far after that. So thank you very much, I appreciate it. Thank you everybody else for coming out on such a beautiful night. Yeah, it's got to be the end of it. It's got to be getting towards the end, but anyhow, for Mindy and for Dawn, and for the entire library, all of the employees, but the volunteers too. And you know, historically speaking, I've been coming up here, and of course, anybody who knows the library knows Miss Henricks. And Miss Henricks was, of course, when I was in school, the librarian at the high school. And so she was so, I guess, enthusiastic, and her profession, her career was librarian at BHS, Belvidere High School, and then she enjoyed it so much she came here, and she had another career, really. And what a nice lady. And you know, there have been a lot of other individuals here that have worked up here that certainly probably go unrecognized, and I really couldn't recall all their names, but very, very nice. So with that being said, a little historical perspective, I wanted to present this to Dawn Brooks on behalf of the city of Belvidere. It's a proclamation, and it reads as follows. Whereas Ida Public Library is commemorating its 140th anniversary celebration on March 9, 2023, where members of the community are all coming together to help celebrate this marvelous event. And whereas in 1883, General Allen C. Fuller donated funds to the city to form a public library, and whereas the library was named in honor of General Fuller's daughter, Ida Fuller Hovey, who was an avid reader and dedicated to the Ladies Library Club. Ida passed at just the age of 24 due to consumption, and whereas the library became very popular, and by 1910, it had outgrown its capacity at City Hall, and a new library was needed. And whereas a new library was planned and funded by the Andrew Carnegie Foundation, and construction began in 1912. The front of the library is the 1912 construction that is wonderfully preserved, and whereas during 1986 and 1987, a 10,000 square foot addition was built on the west side of the library, tripling the size of the library, and whereas with the addition of the bookmobile, in 2021, the library continues to explore new ways to serve the residents of the city of Belvidere as our population grows. And whereas the Ida Public Library tradition of promoting education, literacy, and community involvement has enriched this city of Belvidere for 140 years. And now therefore I, Clinton Morris, as mayor of the city of Belvidere, do hereby honor the 140th anniversary of the Ida Public Library and proclaim Thursday, March 9th, 2023 to be Ida Public Library Day. So thank you again, everybody, for coming out.
My name is Mark Bonney. I'm the Senator's Chief of Staff, and I am also a Rockford Alderman. And I won't read this because they're going to get repetitive since you have another one coming too. But I will say Senator Solomon regrets he can't be here. He's in Springfield. The General Assembly is in session. Representative Bella also has a proclamation. He's also in Springfield. And both of them, I think, speak for both of them, are really excited about representing Belvidere. For Senator Stottleman, it is he's been in office for 10 years now, and his district has included in that time almost all of Rockford, all of West Park, and all of McChesney Park, a little bit of Roscoe, a little bit of Cherry Valley. Under the new map, he's losing McChesney Park and gaining Belvidere and all of Cherry Valley. And so I'm sure he would have loved to have been here and toured the building, because he has been a big supporter of historic preservation as a state lawmaker. He has sponsored legislation that has allowed for some very important financing vehicles, the things called like historic tax credits that have allowed in Rockford anyway, some have really helped find new purpose for beautiful old buildings that have fallen into disrepair and need a new use and a new life. What's great, of course, about this building is that it didn't come to that, and it's still a library and it's gorgeous. And I personally am also a fan of historic architecture. I've been involved with some preservation issues in Rockford. And as many of you are probably aware, Rockford ruined its historic library, tore the top off of it, and now because of environmental problems on the site originally, it is under construction, a brand new library. Although that's going to be a very cool contemporary building, it doesn't have this history that this facility has. And so I would love for this to be a library in Rockford. And it's a great facility, and so congratulations to you, and 150 is just around the corner, right? Thank you.
Now, Joanne, if I say your name wrong, I'm sorry, Velasquez, who is representing Dave Villa tonight, our state representative. So she has a proclamation also to give to Don Brooke. Welcome, Joanne.
Hi everyone, my name is Joanne Velasquez. I am State Representative Dave Villa's head of district outreach. As mentioned, State Representative Villa could not be here today as he is in Springfield. I know he would have loved to have been here with you all celebrating 140 years. I speak on behalf of Dave when I say he's incredibly proud of the work that you guys do here in this library, and incredibly proud to be representing the city of Belvidere. The city of Belvidere is now a new addition to the Illinois 68th district, and we are extremely excited to be representing you all and to be part of this community. Dave Villa, he introduced this proclamation in the State House of Representatives, and it reads as follows. The 103rd General Assembly House of Representatives acknowledges Ida Public Library in recognition of celebrating its 140th anniversary and receiving the Illinois Centennial Library Award. And this is offered by State Representative Dave Villa. And again, thank you all. I wish you all continued success. And again, we're extremely proud to be here. So thank you.
I want to extend my congratulations to celebrating 140 years as a vital community organization and being awarded Illinois Centennial Library status by the Illinois State Library. Your phenomenal work over the last 140 years promoting literacy in Belvidere and Boone County is a significant accomplishment that deserves to be recognized. I am so proud to represent an organization with a proven dedication to service in the Belvidere community. I thank you, your dedicated staff, and your volunteers for all you have done and continue to do. I wish the Ida Public Library continued success in all future endeavors. If my office can be of service to you, please let me know. So that was from Congressman Bill Foster, so very good. Thank you, Congressman Bill Foster. And we received another letter this morning from Governor Pritzker. So it says, congratulations to the Ida Public Library on your 140th anniversary. To celebrate an anniversary such as this is a significant milestone for any organization. All that Ida Public Library has accomplished during the past 140 years makes it all the more special. Your longevity is truly a testament to the impact and relationships you have fostered through the years. I have no doubt your organization will continue to excel for years to come. I commend everyone at the Ida Public Library for their hard work, dedication, and passion. Your leadership makes your community and state a better place. It is my honor to commemorate this milestone for Ida Public Library. On behalf of the people of Illinois, I offer my best wishes for a memorable celebration and continued success in the years to come. So thank you, Governor Pritzker. Sorry, Wendy. Wendy is here to present some of our a little history on the little presentation on the history of Ida Public Library. There you go. So Wendy,
As Mindy said, my name is Wendy LaFosse. I'm a member of the Ida Public Library Board. And tonight, we're actually celebrating, in a way, 2 anniversaries. See, now I did it. Mayor Morris told you about the founding of the library in 1885. But on February 12th, 1910, we came to this building in its first edition. Let me talk to you a little bit about that night. It was written, picture the night of the dedication, a chilly winter evening, lights blazing from the windows and snow pouring outside. You know, somebody said that history doesn't repeat, it rhymes. You're going to pick up on that a lot during this talk. People with furs and suits stepped into the vestibule, milling about the rooms, admiring the high ceilings, the stained glass, and the windows and wood furnishings, and all of the space. Believe it or not, on that snowy night, 500 people attended the opening of this library in this space. They were so excited to have an area of learning in a community. They filled every space in the new library. As I said, history repeats. But that's not the beginning of our story. As the mayor told you, the story of Ida. And let me go a little bit further in talking to you about her. She was a 24-year-old girl that sat on numbers of committees. She was loved by everyone in the community, and she loved the community. When Ida was diagnosed with consumption, which is what we now know as tuberculosis, she died at the age of 24. Her father loved her so much that he wanted to create something in memory that would encapsulate all of her different interests. So he came to the city council and the mayor to make a donation to create a library where people could study all of these things and she could continue to be a service to the community. The one thing he asked is he didn't want the library to be called the Fuller Library, which was his name, and he didn't want it to be called the Hovey Library, her married name, because he wanted people to remember Ida and her lively story and her loving nature. The city council of Belvidere approved giving them one room in the old city hall. It started with a collection of 6,813 books. And people were thrilled to have it. Because you see, before the Ida Public Library, there were libraries in Belvidere, but they were private and shared amongst families. This was the first time anyone of any income had access to a public library. The story I'm telling you tonight is really a love story. You've already seen Ida's love of the community, and you've seen General Fuller's love of Ida. But that story continues on over time. There was a man by the name of Andrew Carnegie. He was a philanthropist and steel baron. He believed in the love of knowledge. In particular, he believed for the inner cities and rural areas that would have less access to a library. What he said was this: what is the best gift that can be given to a community? A free library. It occupies the first space, or the first place. Well, you'll be shocked to know that by 1897, the Ida Public Library in that one room ran out of space. Just like history rhymed with the snow tonight, you're going to hear that repeat a couple more times. So they spent 10 years trying to find a way to expand the library. But then you see, the love story continued. In 1975, a newspaper writer for the BDR, the Belvidere Daily Republican, sneaking from the children's department to peek into the no man's land, which was the adult library. She was always stopped, but she always wondered what happened there. In her article, she wrote, "I have been in many libraries, some of them larger, perhaps newer. None was the same as our Ida Public Library. Whenever I have the opportunity to visit our library, I have a warm feeling upon entering the door, climbing the stairs. Perhaps a bit of nostalgia is involved, since the library has been part of my life. It is more than a building, it's a friend, like a real friend. It's always there when I need it, to help and serve. Belvidere is indeed fortunate to have the Ida Public Library in its midst." That article, printed in 1972, just a little over 50 years ago, touched the board members at that time. And the lady who wrote the article was a lady by the name of Jan Knudsen. When she wrote that article, the library board immediately called her and said, "Would you sit on our board?" That began a 50-year love affair that continued the story. Now, during Jan's time, she started at the library full-time in 1978. She served as board president from 1985 to 1991. During that time, she and and library administrator, and I'm going to get it wrong, Jean Newcomer, formed an incredible duo. And once again, found funding for the expansion that is now this library. And that's another part of the love story with Ida and the community. In trying to raise the money, a new organization came into being, the Friends of the Ida Public Library. They hosted a readathon where kids and people of the community read for contributions to build this new wing. But something more important came in 1985. The very first Friends of the Library book sale. If you've ever been here when the sign goes out, teachers, children, and just everyone comes to buy their reduced price books here. And at the end of the 90s, we saw technology be the new issue. And Jan and Ms. Newcomer were able to put that together. The point is now the future. The Ida Public Library came through the pandemic in a way that you can't imagine. When everything was closed, the library reinvented itself inside out. They literally thought outside of the building. They bought the equipment to have Zoom trainings, book readings for the children. They brought hands-free book check-ins, all of which we're using today, that kept that old friend of the library, the one that Jan described, going even through the toughest times when nobody could leave their home. So the question now for us is, we are the future. You notice when you came in tonight, I made every one of you sign your name. That was for a purpose. Well, you are the next chapter in the love story of the Ida Public Library. That first meeting here in this building was on February 12th, 1910. It's no accident, 1913. It's no accident that that was on Abraham Lincoln's birthday. So you won't mind if I steal from him. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what we did here. It's our job to carry the library into the next century. Each of us is responsible for writing that next chapter. How do we preserve and extend our legacy? And I challenge each one of you to become more active and share in the love story, which is the Ida Public Library. Thank you.
This award verifies the importance of the functioning of the Ida Public Library in the city of Belvidere for more than 100 years. It has played a very important role in the educational development of the citizens of Belvidere and has contributed to the well-being of our community. And I would like to give this award to Betty Clendenning, the president of the Friends of the Library, and I want to express congratulations to all who have worked so hard to make this award possible. This has a lot of stuff in it, so be careful with it. There's all kinds of stuff in it. Okay, God bless you.
Thank you from all the personnel of the library, and we have a few of them on the outskirts there. I didn't bring the dates of the book sale, but I believe it is April 25th. It goes from a Tuesday night to Saturday. We will be setting up from the Thursday before, bringing in 400 boxes of books that have been stored off away from the building, and we have some more that we will be working sort. So the notices will be there. We would love to have you come and work with us. We all really appreciate the library and all the hard work of personnel.
Thank you, Betty. And I want to point out to anyone who's interested in working for the Friends or helping the Friends out, we have some applications downstairs. It's $5 a year to join the Friends of the Ida Public Library to help out and do some volunteer work with the book sales and all of their good work that we really can't do without here in the library. So before we conclude for the night, I want to follow up on a couple of things from Wendy's speech. If you look behind the pole on the wall behind Daniel, there is a picture of Ida next to the Praying Rock Formation. When you leave, you'll take a look at it. Now, the picture doesn't do her justice. If you think about it, she was suffering from consumption at the time. A young woman, not even 24 years old. That's her portrait over there on the wall. And General Fuller has said that this library must be named after her in perpetuity. And I'm not sure if a lot of you realize, but Ida was a sister of Catherine Reinhardt, who built the Funderburg House. So Catherine inherited General Fuller's fortune because she was the only living child he had. The rest of the family slowly wasted away from consumption, including Catherine's firstborn child. So it's a very sad story of the family. And so if we could get some joy from that and have this library, it's wonderful. So from the depths of despair come wonderful joy to help everyone. So, and I also want to point out that we have Andrew Carnegie's portrait right here on the wall. Andrew Carnegie's foundation sent this portrait out in 1930. It's a reproduction of his favorite portrait he had done of him. This was in honor of his 100th, I believe, birthday. Of course, he wasn't alive then. They sent it out to all the remaining libraries funded by the Carnegie Foundation. And we still have the portrait hanging there, one of the few libraries who still have it hanging there. And I believe we're one of 70 existing libraries in the state of Illinois that were funded by the Carnegie Foundation. Our application is on the roster for June for the National Registry of Historic Places. We hopefully will receive that designation. And once we do, we can hopefully restore the front doors. And the front doors no longer work, they're not operational. We have to have the registry on status in order to open those doors up again and fix them. And without complying with all the ADA requirements that you have to have. But the front doors have a special significance to Carnegie libraries. If you've ever studied architecture of Andrew Carnegie and studied his requirements, you must have columns at the front entrance of your library to signify the enlightenment you're going to receive and the gainful knowledge you're going to get by entering the library. You also have to have 2 posts with giant globes of light signifying, again, the enlightenment you'll receive by coming into a library, which is what we have at our front door. And there must be steps leading up into it. signifying your ascension into knowledge. So if you study Andrew Carnegie, you'll learn a little bit about why the front door looks the way it is and why we're so proud to have it, because so many other libraries have deteriorated. So we're very proud to have this library, and it's in very good condition. And if you look at the stained glass and the woodwork, it's very similar to the Reinhardt, the Funderburg house, because the same glaziers and builders put this together, because Catherine Reinhardt sat on the board and helped hire those same builders and glaziers. So very interesting history. Now, before we conclude, I'd like to call up some of our board and some of our staff who want to come up here and introduce. These are hardworking people. I couldn't do it without all these people. So board members, come on up. We'll introduce some of them to you so you can get to know them a little bit. Not everyone's here, but this is Dawn Brooks, our board president. Board member. Daniel Riolo, member of the board, treasurer of the board. James Lee, again, you met him earlier. And Dale Stelton-Cole. We have a few other board members. Jan Knudsen is at home. Jan Knudsen has been on the library board for how many years now? 50 years.
Over 50 years.
Yeah, she's a wonderful addition, very dedicated to the library still, so thank you all board members. I couldn't do the job without them. I mean, if I could probably would let me do the job. I hope I'm not the boss, but I don't know. They're wonderful. This is Betsy Niche, sorry. Betsy has been here in the library for 23 years. She's my administrative assistant. She knows everything, so any little thing I need to ask, Betsy will know. Sandy Omniotech, who's our master gardener. Daisy, I'm going to say your name was right. Melchler, I always say it wrong. Daisy's our youth services coordinator. I lured Daisy away from Whitehead Elementary School special needs teaching last year, and I do not regret 1 second of it. She's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. That's all we have tonight. So thank you. They're wonderful.
They're working.
They're all working. Others are all working. Yes. So thank you all. I appreciate everyone coming here. I appreciate everyone being here. Our time capsule, you saw all the things downstairs. We're going to wait a little bit to actually put it behind. It goes behind the glass display case downstairs. We had an art production, a company called Do Art Productions, who's doing a comic book workshop here on May 4th. And they did a little contest where they asked young people, adults, anyone from all over to submit comics. You could draw your own 6-panel comic of your own, or you could color in a comic that they had designed. And they gave 3 prizes away, and they had probably 100 or so entries, and 2 of the prizes went to 2 of our people who submitted, 2 young children who submitted their comics here. Wonderful comics. And so next week they're going to come. They want a picture of the children and their parents receiving the awards and then putting it into the time capsule. So those will go into the time capsule also. So, because comic book art is art, so they're wonderful. They did a great job. So we're not going to actually put it in behind the wall tonight, but you saw the things that will go in the time capsule. So thank you all for coming. I've enjoyed this library so much for so many years, and it's my safe place. It's my second home. Love it here. I feel so deeply honored to be running it. So thank you so much. Good job.